Hey all, it's RC with Compass Marine and marinehowto.com. And we're in the shop today. We're going to go over the difference between California Energy Commission compliant mode and power supply mode on the Sterling ProCharge Ultra. And what I want to show you first, and the reason I'm showing you float first, is because we don't want to have to wait for the absorption cycle to time out and drop to float. But what I'm showing you here, I previously went in and set the charger up for PS, or power supply mode. And when California demanded that battery chargers shut off when the batteries were deemed full, Sterling Power and others had to comply with that. So if you're running the charger in what's called BC mode, what you'll see is the charger will physically turn itself off. It won't be putting any power into the battery. It's in sleep mode. And if the battery voltage drops down to about 12.8, it will re-engage. A lot of owners don't like that. They want to know that their batteries are being floated. And so the simple way to fix that is to run the charger in PS mode. And there's some confusion out there on the internet. A lot of folks assume that PS mode means that it's a constant float voltage, and that is 100% incorrect. Power supply mode is the old battery charger mode. And when Sterling had to comply with CEC, they made BC, the CEC compliant, and power supply, the old battery charger mode. So what we're seeing here is we've got a gel battery. I have it on a gel setting, and it's running at 13.8 volts. That's the float voltage. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to power the charger off. And what we're going to see is that when the charger reboots, and what we're going to get on the screen first is we're going to get, I'm just going to disconnect that, reconnect it. We're going to get 888, and then it's going to say PS, and that is power supply mode. So we're going to, when I boot this up, we'll see what happens. There's our 888. Here's PS. We're running it in power supply mode. It's doing its checks, and now there we go. The charger is doing absorption now. It will go through its absorption, minimum absorption time before it will drop down to float. And by the way, if you have Decker or Sonashine gels, really 14.4 is a little bit high. It's cold in the shop today, so I'm not too concerned. This battery is probably at like 45 degrees right now. But you know, normally 14.1, 14.2, and we have gel batteries out there that have lasted as long as 17 years at 14.1 or 14.2. So they can last a good long time if they're charged properly. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you how to change from CEC, or we're in power supply mode. So what I'm going to do is we're going to change from that. So what we do is we power the charger off, and we power it back on. And we wait till either BC or PS comes up on the screen here. When it does, we just hit either the up or down arrow. Now we're in BC, hit enter, and now the charger is going to boot up, and it's going to run in California compliant mode, where it will turn off when the battery is full. If we wanted to set that back to PS again, now see here, it's doing its bulk absorb float. Came right up to the absorption voltage. We're still set on the same gel, only after this goes through float, the battery charger would turn off because we're in California Energy Commission compliant. So I'm going to turn that off again and show you one more time how we turn it into an old school battery charger where it does bulk absorb float. Fire that back up. We get 888 on the screen. Once we see BC, we hit either the up or down arrow. I'm going to use the down arrow here. Whoop. PS, enter, done. That's how easy it is to change the Sterling ProCharge Ultra from battery charger mode to power supply mode. And one of the nice things about about power supply mode versus BC mode is that if your dock should lose power and you run your refrigeration at the dock, in battery charger mode, if the charger tries to boot up into a very low battery charge, it won't boot up. But in power supply mode, it would. So if you lost power and the battery went down to 10 something volts and the power came back on, this in power supply mode, it will recharge your batteries, because you don't even need a battery connected in power supply mode. But keep in mind that power supply mode, when there's a battery connected, it will still do bulk absorption and float. I hope that helps.